Michael Jackson once admitted that just seeing his father walk into a room would make him literally throw up.
I'm scared. So scared that I would regurgitate.
You would vomit.
Mm-hmm.
When would you vomit? What would produce that sort of reaction in you?
His presence.
And when you understand what Michael Jackson's childhood actually looked like, suddenly everything about his adult life starts to make sense. The perfectionism, the loneliness, the obsession with childhood, even Neverland itself.
Okay, now you can go. But don't run. Whatever you do, don't run.
Because before Michael Jackson became the biggest entertainer on earth, he was a child being trained for greatness through fear. And the scariest part is, it worked.
Right across the street from the recording studio was a ballpark. And I could hear the kids, the roar of the crowd and playing and catching ball and having fun and playing tennis. And some of those times I so passionately wanted to just go over there and just play a little bit.
You see, when most kids were playing baseball outside, Michael was inside of a studio recording. And this isn't just an exaggeration.
Well, you don't get to do things that other children get to do. The simple things that they so much take for granted. Having friends and slumber parties and buddies and just hanging out. There was none of that for me.
Michael himself remembered standing inside Motown Studios as a child, hearing kids play across the street as he recorded professionally. He said he would look outside and cry because he wanted to play with them, but he couldn't. Because while other children had actual childhoods, Michael had a job. By the age of 5, he was already rehearsing constantly with the Jackson brothers under the control of his father, Joe Jackson. And Joe wasn't just a strict parent. He was a manager at first and a father second. You see, Joe Jackson had failed at becoming a professional musician himself. And when he discovered his children had talent, especially Michael, everything changed. The family became a machine, and Michael became the engine. Inside the Jackson household, Joseph ruled through fear. The children weren't even allowed to call him dad. Michael later said he desperately wanted to call him daddy, but Joe refused.
And he didn't allow us to call him daddy. And I wanted to call him daddy so bad. He said, I'm not daddy, I'm Joseph to you.
Think about how psychologically strange that is for a child.
When he was beating you, did you hate him?
Yeah. Strong hate.
And according to Michael and several of his siblings, and the discipline inside the home was brutal. Joe would allegedly rehearse the boys for hours while sitting in a chair holding a belt. If someone missed a step, the belt came down.
Would he only use a belt?
Why do you do this to me? No, more than a belt.
What else would he use to hit you with?
Ironing cords, whatever's around.
Imagine being so afraid of your father's presence that hearing his car outside would change the entire energy of the house.
His car coming down the drive. We always drove this big Mercedes. He drives real slow. Show the phone, quick. Boom, door slam. Everybody runs to their room. Like there's sometimes I'd be in bed at night sleeping. It's 12 at night. The door's locked. So I'm giving you 5 seconds. Open, I'm going to kick it down. And he starts kicking it. Kick it, like breaking the door. And I'm, why did you sign that contract today? I go, I don't know. He goes, well, sign it. If you don't sign it, you're in trouble. So you would sign? I had to. He was very physical. He'd throw you and hit you as hard as he can.
Here's what makes this story uncomfortable. Joe Jackson's methods were horrifying, but they also created one of the greatest performers who ever lived. That's the contradiction at the center of Michael Jackson's life. Because the same fear that damaged him also sharpened him. Michael himself admitted that Joe used him as the example for the older brothers.
He used me as the example. It was like, do it like Michael. You know, and he practiced us with a belt in his hand. And if you miss a step, expect to be...
That meant Michael wasn't just trying to avoid the punishment himself. He became the standard for everyone to follow. And eventually, performing became the only place Michael actually felt safe.
Well, on stage for me was home. I was most comfortable, and still most comfortable, on stage. But once I got off stage, I was like very sad.
Really?
Yes.
That line explains almost everything. Because when a child grows up learning that love, appreciation only exists when he is performing, they stop knowing who they are when they're outside of it. Michael wasn't just performing for audiences, he was surviving psychologically through performance. That's why he became obsessive. Every move had to be perfect. Every note had to be perfect. Because perfection wasn't optional in his childhood. Perfection was literally survival. And eventually, the damage became visible. When Michael became a teenager, he developed acne and became insecure about his appearance.
And I had pimples so badly, and it made me so shy. I used to not look at myself. I'd wash my face in the dark. I wouldn't want to look in the mirror.
Instead of comforting him, Joe reportedly mocked his nose constantly.
Father would tease you about your
He would tell me I'm ugly. My father would say, yes, he would.
Now imagine hearing that from your father while already becoming one of the most recognizable faces on earth. Michael later admitted he cried because of those comments, and many people believe those insecurities became the beginning of his obsession with cosmetic surgery. But the emotional damage went even deeper than just insecurity.
Is it true that your father used to say you had a fat nose?
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he actually say?
God, your nose is big. You didn't get it from me.
What does that do to someone who's going through adolescence?
You want to die.
And yet, despite all of it, Michael still defended Joe sometimes. That's what makes this story tragic instead of simple.
I don't think how much he hurt me with love. But he's a genius. The man is a genius. At the same time, he is a genius. He really is.
But Michael, he injured you when you were a child.
Yeah, but look what came out of it.
Well,
Maybe I wouldn't have the affection for the kids that I have today and wanting to help them.
And that's the horrifying question underneath this entire story. Did Joe Jackson create Michael Jackson, or did he destroy him in the process? As Michael got older, it became obvious he was trying to reclaim something. That's why Neverland existed. People often look at the ranch and only see eccentricity, but psychologically, Neverland makes the perfect sense. It was the childhood Michael never had, the amusement park, the animals, the fantasy world, the freedom. Michael spent his entire life trying to recreate the innocence he missed while being turned into a superstar. Because while the world saw the king of pop, inside was still the same child, staring out of the Motown window, watching other kids play baseball. And maybe that's the saddest part of Michael Jackson's story. He achieved almost impossible levels of fame, became the most famous entertainer on earth. But the cost of creating Michael Jackson may have been Michael Jackson himself.